Today I'll do a review of something I reviewed before. I normally do not do follow-up reviews for version 1.1 or version 2 of anything because usually the changes are not that much. And it's the same story with this one, the B2K 4th chamber. This is the I don't know what 5th edition, right? Yeah, 4th chamber RSA B2K. As you know, I've done a full review before. I loved it, and like I said, usually I do not do variations like new slight changes, etc. But this has something new. It has an ultimate reducer to convert the B2K into a mouth to lung. Yeah, mouth to lung vape. Unfortunately, due to a unfortunate incident, I can't actually show you completely how the ultimate chamber works, but I will show you how it looks like. Let's take a look at the B2K 4th chamber. So here's the B2K RSA 4th chamber rendition by BB Vapes brand. Again, as I said, I have already done a full review of the B2K RSA. Links will be, well, everywhere in the description box. I'll also put it in a video if you can see something popping up on top. If you're on YouTube, guys, just click on that and you will go to the full review of the B2K RSA. This video, I just want to show you the updates, right? So obviously the packaging is different. You see B2K RSA 4th chamber. And just like the first version I reviewed, you're going to get lots of stuff here. First of all, you're going to get the B2K RSA, and this one has a gold-plated deck, O-ring at the bottom, peak insulator. It comes pre-installed with the squonking pin. The design has obviously changed a little bit. The airflow is more or less the same. Now this cap, instead of being a Delrin cap, it is a anodized aluminum, a black anodized aluminum cap. The design a little bit, it's got the revolver, 6-shot revolver design, that's what they're calling it. Comes with a 810 size drip tip, O-ring on the inside, 810 to 510 adapter, and the 510 size drip tip, and a 23 to 24 beauty ring or adapter. So as you know, the diameter of the B2K is actually 23 millimeters, and using this, you make it 24. You get the same thing for the white cap, 810 adapter, 510, and beauty ring. In this version, you also get a gold-plated cap for those of you who like to bling out. Ultimate set anodized aluminum cap that comes with a clear 510 drip tip, beauty ring, adapter, and 510 and 810 drip tips. You also get a bag of spares of some O-rings and Allen key for the deck. You get the airflow restrictor, and in this version you get the mouth to lung reducer as well. You just plug this in into the regular deck, put this on top, and you can actually get a mouth to lung vape. It has 3 airflow on this side and on the other side as well. So you are actually restricting your airflow to the 3 holes you see here. When I started this review, I really wanted to show you, focus on this thing, but as you can see, I had a incident. Here's how the deck looks like, gold plated, and then you have an additional post screw right here, and this will be to plug your 510 or your bottom fitting pin. So it doesn't come with an additional regular 510 pin. You got to take this one out. It looks like this with a tiny O-ring right there. The bottom fitting pin, as you can see, is threaded, so what you need to do is really just put this in and close the hole. And now it becomes a regular or non-bottom feeding RDA. Hex screws instead of flat screws, as I mentioned, still very much a postless deck, and otherwise the deck itself remains unchanged. So let me explain a little bit about the mouth to lung reducer. Although as I already showed you, I kind of destroyed mine. There is something you have to pay attention to for the mouth to lung reducer. Now where the fuck is that? In order to use the mouth to lung reducer, all you have to do is just, if you look at the shape, you get an idea of how this goes in. So you just have to put this in like this and push it to the bottom. But the problem is this screw that plugs the 510, it gets in the way. So I have to take this out. And if you plan to use it in squonk mode, you probably don't need this in the deck anyway, so you can just take it out, put it in your bag of spares, and problem solved. Now you can push this in very easily, just like that. So you have your mouth to lung coil inside. The airflow has been really reduced, as you can see on both sides, still going down at an angle as it always was. But now you have a very small 9mm diameter chamber for your mouth to lung vape for smaller coils. So you would put your coil right here and your wicks would come out on both sides. Right? Very similar like a Pico, etc. Those RTAs tanks that have cotton wicking to the side and falling down. Same thing, the cotton will go through these two holes right here, and there's actually room at the bottom for the juice to saturate the cotton. Very interesting idea. And then once you're done, you just put this piece on. Obviously mine is not going to sit in at all, and this reduces the chimney size or diameter on top, and then you put in the cap itself. So it's a very creative way of actually making a big RDA with massive amount of airflows and really closing that down to a mouth to lung vape. Obviously this would be sitting a bit lower if mine would actually work. The problem is the screw gets in the way, and initially I put a screw back. So now I wanted to re-wick it. I couldn't take this out, and I just thought, you know, I'll just dry burn it a little bit. It's just a small coil. No, immediately I have burning on top, and this thing now is ruined. You can get just the mouth to lung reducer separately, and it should fit all versions of the B2K deck as far as I know. The deck is not changed at all from the first version except for the screws, and of course this is a gold plated, so you can get this separately. Comes with this part as well, and then you can use it in your previous versions of B2K. The airflow works for a mouth to lung. I've tried it twice. Unfortunately I cannot show you today, but in certain angles for the airflow I feel like it actually gets more wide open instead of getting more restricted. Again, no point talking about that since I've already ruined this little piece. That leaves me no option but to use the B2K as it was originally intended, with all the massive airflow that it has. I'm just going to put in the largest coil that I can find, the largest, juiciest coil that I can find. Adjust my coil a little bit. And the other thing I forgot to mention, of course, is that you have a spit back protector. So if you want to, like what I did here, you can actually put your coil up. I usually do it raised or level with the deck, but today I am going to put it a little bit higher and use the spit back protector. There's still lots of room in there, as you can see. The spit back protector comes attached to the Ultim 810 drip tip, but you can unthread it or unscrew it counterclockwise and attach it to any of the other provided 810 size drip tips. The mod that I have here is the DPM Limo DNA75C 2700 version. Good to go. B2K RSA 4th Chamber of Shaolin. Yeah, the B2K has lots and lots of airflow, but being that it's flexible enough, you can put the airflow restrictor, which I showed you in my original initial review of the B2K, and then you can actually reduce the airflow quite a lot. With the airflow control, you can actually get a pretty restricted, an open restricted kind of vape with the B2K, which is what it was meant for, larger coil. I remember reading somewhere that the B2K was designed for dual coil vapers who want to transition to a single coil RDA. And if that's true, I think it hits the mark. It is a very wide open airflow, and I like it. I love the B2K RDA. It adds another bar of airflow, right? So I like restricted vapes all the way up to the B2K, and nothing more than that. So this is really the widest airflow that I would go. Now, what do I think about this? My thoughts of the B2K RSA RDA 4th chamber is pretty much the same as my initial review. I think it's great value for money for roughly about $70 US. Prices are up and down a little bit, but roughly around $70 US. You get excellent value for money. Now you get lots of caps, 4 different sets of caps, and you get the airflow restrictor, spit back protector. You get 810 drip tips, drip tip adapter, 510 drip tips. It's just a whole lot of stuff in there. Excellent value for money. Build quality is good as well on this one and on the previous one. The design changes, I appreciate the design changes. I think the design changes makes it look even better than the one that I reviewed. Which the one that I reviewed was not the first version. I believe it was the second version of it, and then there was a third and there's a fourth, and now there's the MTL Reducer 4th chamber version, which is actually the 5th version. I think I'm getting a bit confused. But anyway, the B2K RSA, this one was sent to me by Steve Torok for the purpose of this review. Now, Steve actually carries the B2K RSA as one of his product lines, and I believe he has a Facebook group or a website. So if you want to check it out, I'll link the Facebook group or website or both in the description box below, where you can go and purchase the B2K RSA. Now, the cons with this are not that much. One con, personal preference. I'm not a bling guy. I find the gold-plated deck a bit nauseating. I just don't like it. I mean, maybe there's a different way to create a gold-plated deck, but for me, no, I don't. The gold-plated cap. I'm sorry, gold-plated cap. The gold-plated deck is fine. I don't really see it, but the gold-plated cap is a bit too much for me. I know there's a reason it exists, because lots of you love the gold-plated stuff. Lots of you like to bling out, but not me. Another con I would say is the MTL Reducer setup. It's good, it works, but it doesn't really work like a MTL kind of thing. I remember that this was supposed to be meant for Nick salt, which I believe also needs a tight airflow. The problem is, at some angles when you adjust the airflow in the cap, you can get a restricted vape. But on other angles, when you try to close down the airflow a little bit, you get a whistly sound, and it doesn't really affect the tightness of the airflow because the 3 holes are on the inside, so it's kind of a two-phase airflow, if you would, right? Those 3 holes are not getting air directly from the side. It's getting air from the space inside, the chamber inside. And then that creates a vacuum, and then you get air from the outside. So when you close the airflow, you don't really feel like you are getting a tighter draw until it's very, very small airflow, and then you can feel like you're getting a tighter draw. But that being add-on to a wide open RDA, that's a good thing. You can at least get a multi-purpose. Now, RDAs that try to be 2 things at once usually fail. They're usually not good at either one. For me, I think the B2K excels at being a wide open cloud chucking single coil RDA. For dual coil RDA uses a transition over whatever. But the mount to lung, I think, is a bit too ambitious for the B2K. From wide open to mount to lung, Albert Lee, he's some kind of an evil genius. I didn't see this coming. I mean, when I first saw the MTL Reducer, I'm like, is that going to work on a B2K? It does work. It does work to a certain extent. But maybe the really picky mount to lung users might not appreciate it. As for what happened to my deck, I really don't know. It just happened so fast. And I was surprised that the top part actually melted instead of the part that possibly had contact with the leads, which is the inside bottom part. But then I just pulsed my coil a little bit, and the top part just, as you saw, just melted. I don't know if that is a common problem or whatever it is. And regretfully, I'm not able to show you how the MTL Reducer works, but I think you get a good picture. So in summary, the B2K RSA this edition, I would say it looks good. It performs very well for a wide open mount to lung airflow. It's easy to build on, and the design is good. It comes with a whole lot of extras. The value for money is good, but the dual mode to also function as a mount to lung kind of setup, I don't think it quite works. The airflow just is not very responsive for the mount to lung because of what I said earlier. That's all for this review. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to pick up the B2K fourth chamber, do check the link in the description box below. Okie dokie, no more smoking.
Wow, 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 wow.